Hey everybody, I'm Jan Erickson and this is As Above, So Below, a rune and tarot divination for Thursday, the 24th day of October 2024. Well, two 24s. Little synchronicity there. I hope everybody's day is going well and your week's going well. We're getting to the almost to the end of this one. Let's go ahead and take a rune from the Elder Futhark bag. We have Hagalaz. Hagalaz is the ninth rune of the Elder Futhark. It's one of the Norn runes. Considered the Norn rune of the past, whereas Nathiz would be the Norn rune of the future, and Isa would be the Norn rune of the present moment. The Norns were the goddesses or witches who gave Odin the runes as a gift when he hung upside down from the world tree, to sacrificing an eye to gain enlightenment. At least that's what the lore says. But Hagalaz is about transformation within a fixed framework. Think about it in terms of hail. Hail comes down, it transforms because maybe it's big and it damages a bunch of stuff, but then suddenly the sun comes out, it melts the hail and it's gone, and all you see is this stuff that's left that needs to be fixed. And so but Hagalaz, when you look at it, you see the Isa on either side here, the straight line coming down on either side. You're looking at boundaries, and so it's transformation of, say, perception without necessarily giving up your values or your principles, but just maybe you see something in a way that's just not right, and it just needs to be rethought of. It's considered the celestial ice egg. It's about protection, it's about luck. You can use it in trance work. I use it in terms of trance work when I use it as sort of a doorway into something else, sort of the liminal space where you can go and think about things in a way and meditate on things in a way, or do a journeying exercise or something where you start exploring other ideas so it's useful. Another one that you can use for that is Elwaz. It looks like the letter M, and so you can use that as a doorway as well. Elwaz is thought to be the Merkaba. It sort of represents the Merkaba, or the soul vehicle, and so that's why I think it's a really good rune for journeying and trance work. But you can use Hagalaz in the same way. But it's not completely dissolving everything. There's still who you are is who you are. Your values are what they are, and unless that's what needs to be transformed. But generally speaking, it's perception of things that you kind of need to take a look at that with Hagalaz and make some adjustments. And depending, it can be big adjustments or small adjustments, really. Here, for the Geomancy rune, we have Fortuna Minor. Fortuna Major is its complement. Fortuna Major would be the greater fortune, and Fortuna Minor, which would be lesser fortune. And with Fortuna Minor, you're willing to ask for outside assistance. In some respects, it could be baby steps. It could be the progressive success that you have versus the windfall at the end with Fortuna Major. So if you visualize them on a continuum, you can kind of see that, Fortuna Minor is more the process you take to get there. It's very similar in energy to Rado, where you look at rider and horse and the integration that they have, and the progression that they have with one another as they're riding along. There's a sense of progression there as well. So I think that perhaps the perception that needs to be tweaked a little bit today is, how do you achieve your goals? Are you focused on the goal itself that you don't pay attention to the process that you need to take to get there? There could be issues today if you are doing something, say at work, where something's not going along well, and you need to take a look at the process you're taking. Maybe what you're doing, it just needs a little tweaking along the way, some adjustments along the way. That may be what this is about. If it's not a work situation, if it's just something in your personal life that's happening, maybe you're working on a project and you know what you want to achieve, but you know what, if you're building something, but maybe you are not approaching it right. Maybe you've missed a step, So I think that just taking a look at how things are going and how you're doing it, reevaluating your process, maybe what's needed, and that's all the tweaking that needs to happen. But without it, you're not going to achieve your goal. And so, with Hagalaz, with the past being also part of it, it may be, and the reliance may be on outside assistance. You're looking at someone with more experience. You may need to talk to say, look, this is what I want to achieve. This is what I want to do. This is what I'm doing to get there. And they may go, oh, well, okay, here's a couple suggestions I have for you then, because you're not going to get there if you're going in this direction. So, and you're doing these things in this way, So honestly, it's probably just something like that. But let's take a look at the cards and see if they can offer any more details of this. Well, we have the Queen of Swords, the Two of Swords, and the Sun. So the Sun is going to be the overall, either the overall goal, that's achieving success, if you will, or we can put it in the center and kind of raise it up above. So I'll do that a lot of the time, where if I've got one or even two, when I take the picture of this for the blog post of it, I'll have the major arcana card a little higher, and I'll do it like this, because it's going to have more impact on well, we'll do it this way. It's going to have a little more impact on how you see things and your perceptions. And so, if we're looking at Hagalaz as, a higher vibratory rune, especially being a Norn rune. I guess I give the Norn runes in the Elder Futhark a little more weight than the other runes, although I look at all of them as essentially soul archetype messages, the way that the major arcana in tarot is considered. So you're looking at a decision that needs to be made here with the two, and being honest with yourself, or seeking out a mentor that's going to be honest with you, which can align then with Fortuna Minor, and seeking outside assistance and advice for what's going on if things aren't going very well today. Let's start with a 2. To achieve the higher clarity of the Sun, well, let's start with the Sun. We'll start with the Sun first. Here we see the Sun, this rays extending out everywhere. You see a stone wall in back of the white horse with a child on it. And above that are sunflowers growing. And you see a red flag blowing in the breeze, or flowing in the breeze, however you want to see that. Essentially, the Sun is about happiness and fulfillment. It can also represent the self. Think your Sun sign. There's clarity, there's success, there's reunion, there's awakening, the light's returning. And so in order to achieve your goal today, we'll put that in the center and have it above. You have to make a decision, and you have to do it in a dispassionate way. Here we see a woman sitting on a bench. You see the dual line here. You see this frequently in the Rider-Waite tarot, although not on every card. You're not going to see it in the Sun, and you're not going to see it in the Queen of Swords here at all. But you do have it here. So she's sitting over on one side, and the ocean is on the other side. Now the ocean can represent, even though this is a card of swords and the air element, you have other components in it. You have other elements in it. And here we have the water, and the water is emotions. And so she needs to make a decision that's dispassionate, where her emotions aren't getting in the way of anything. And so she blindfolds herself, she crosses her arms, and she tries to make a decision in some kind of rational balance without emotions coming in. Sometimes when you are, if this again is something you're working on something, you have an idea of a goal, which is the Sun, and you want to be successful, also the Sun. Um, with Hagelas, it's suggesting your process may not be right, and you need, and also with Fortuna Minor, the process you're taking may not be correct, and so you're not going to achieve that goal. You're going to have a lot of frustration, and so you're already feeling frustrated when you have to make a decision about it. But maybe the decision that you make is to have to go talk to somebody else with experience who's not going to who's going to be honest with you and forthright and direct about what it is, in this case, the Queen sees, and isn't going to engage in any deception with you. She has no agenda, no personal agenda where she wants to control the outcome of what you're doing. She doesn't care about that. She just wants you to be successful, and she wants you to be honest with yourself. Now, maybe reaching out to somebody where you have to then talk about all of this, maybe your ego doesn't like that, and maybe you're upset about what's going on, you're already frustrated, and the idea of going and telling somebody about that might be embarrassing. Well, it shouldn't be, and so you have to turn off all of that emotion here, like the woman is doing in the 2, in terms of blindfolding her, and make a decision in some kind of that reflects some kind of rational balance to what's going on, to where the process itself is what becomes important. And if you're not able to look at that process in a realistic way, and you need some outside person to kind of look at that and go, what am I missing here? What am I not seeing? What am I not doing because I know I'm not going to achieve my goal here. I feel like there's something I'm missing, there's a step I'm missing, or I'm seeing this wrong, or something is amiss here, and the process is being interfered with. I can't reach my goal today because there's something about what I'm doing that is not going to take me there. And again, I don't think that it's anything very serious, because even though destruction within a fixed framework, is one way to look at Hagelas, but the destruction of the ego within, that prevents you from seeking help from somebody else or advice. Instead, you just end up spinning your wheels and you don't get anywhere, right? And you're certainly not going to achieve the goal and the success that the sun is saying you should. And that can be possible here. But again, it's dropping the ego, letting higher awareness guide your hand here and guide your decisions, doing it dispassionately without emotion coming in and preventing you, because emotion sometimes reflects the ego, and just dropping resistance to all of that and going and talking to somebody that can actually help you and guide you in a better direction here. The Queen of Swords is someone who does not take, she reaches out her hand and beckons you toward her, but she doesn't want to hear any nonsense either. And so whatever excuses you have, check them at the door, because the Queen doesn't want to hear it. The Queen's busy. The Queen's a woman in authority. She's got a business to run. She's doing what she's doing, and she doesn't have time for nonsense. But at the same time, she's going to make time for you, because she wants to help, and she wants to give you advice that's honest and forthright, and you have to be willing to hear what she has to say, and consider it. She's not there to deceive you. She's not there to undermine you in any way. She's just simply there to help. But she doesn't want to hear a bunch of excuses either, because excuses sometimes reflect self-deception. And again, she's not about that. And so I think today, whatever this applies to, whether it's a work situation or just something a project you're doing at home, you've come to a place where you're not getting anywhere. You're spinning your wheels, and you need a little bit of adjustment of perception here. And you need to drop the emotion out of it. You need to make a dispassionate decision to where, okay, even though I'm uncomfortable and I really don't want to tell anybody that I don't know what I'm doing, I have to go see somebody who I know can help me with this, and I'm just going to be very honest and very direct with that person, and I'm not going to make a bunch of excuses. I'm not going to waste their time. It's just, this is my situation, and I need to get from here to here, and this is what I'm doing. And I think I'm either missing something, I'm missing a piece along the way, because maybe it's not the whole process that's the problem. Maybe you kind of took a jump, you know, and you jumped over something maybe that you need to do. Maybe you don't realize you need to do it. But in reality, you know, it could be something very minor here. But at the same time, even if it's not, you have to be able to listen to the person that you go and talk to, and not, you know, just dismiss whatever they say because it doesn't happen to confirm or conform with your whole idea of what should be happening. Clearly what you're thinking isn't turning out the way you want it to, so you've got to drop that in order to actually understand where you need to go in the direction you really need to be taking. And again, it could be minor, you know, it could be more significant, but you know, either way, it doesn't really matter. You know, something's happening here where the process you're taking may not be getting you where you need to go, and some tweaking needs to happen of it. Just a little, maybe just a little adjustment, and you should be fine at that point. But again, don't let your emotions get in the way. Don't let your ego get in the way. To actually be able to go and look at something objectively. And listen to what the advice this person you go to today has to say with an objective mind, without having already decided, you know, the first thing you hear, oh, I'm not going to listen to this, you know. Because if you ever need their help again, maybe they're not going to be so willing to give it, you know, if you're not going to at least give what they say some respect, that they're even spending time with you at all, because this person could be very busy and involved in their own work, and they don't really have the time to do this, but they're going to. And so respect that, appreciate it, and give it some thought in a way that doesn't let your ego come in and dismiss everything out of hand. Oh, well, I know better. Well, clearly you don't, because if you did, you wouldn't be having a trouble today with the process you're taking. So think about that and see how that resonates. Again, could be work, could be just a project you're working on, and you need a little advice for it. Don't be afraid to get it. And when you do, you're likely to be successful according to the sun. So anyhow, that's it. Not too bad going into a weekend. Maybe you've got a weekend project and you're trying to figure out, how am I going to do this? And, you know, you realize that, you know, I need a little help with it, you know, even if it's going online and on YouTube here and researching out how other people have approached something. I mean, even doing something like that can be really helpful and informative. But again, if you have to go talk to an individual, just remember their time is valuable and they're giving you valuable advice, and be grateful for it. And come back and see how it can you can employ that into what you're doing, and maybe make some adjustments, and see if you don't have a better turnout on it all, and you don't meet your goals a little bit better. Maybe you're struggling and you're fighting it and you don't need to. So don't spend so much time in that morass of stress, if you will. Don't spend so much time there that you ultimately can't do anything at all, because sometimes you get to that point, don't you? Where it's like, oh, just forget it, I'm not going to do it. There's help out there, and no matter how you want to do it, you know, again, if you want to, you want to go up to your local big box home improvement store and ask for help or something, you'll find people there that are able to help you with things. But again, appreciate it and take it to heart and see if it can really, it's likely going to help you. So achieve what it is you want to achieve. So anyhow, that's it. Thanks for watching. The forecast comes out on Sunday, as does the correspondences for Work and Magic. Also, the Herb Magic post is coming out on Sunday. If you want to sign up for the newsletter, the sign up is on the right hand side of my blog at Stepping Aside. The web address there is imsteppingaside.com. You can get all that stuff a day ahead of time in a newsletter format. If you want it that way. Some people like to just have everything in the same spot. Some people don't. They don't care. But check out the blog if you will. I'd love you to do that. Again, the web address is imsteppingaside.com. If you forget, click on more below the video and a little window will open up and it's right there. Scroll down, you'll see other stuff too. And have a wonderful weekend, and come back again on Monday. Oh, and click subscribe here if you haven't yet done that. I'd love you to do that. And come back on Monday for another edition of As Above, So Below. Be good to yourself, be good to one another, and blessed be.